Alrighty, here we go. We have some gameplay of my second place at a locals Grandracmon deck going up against my friend Lorenzo's Beelstarmon deck. There is a glare, so you can't really see what's going on down there, but we can clearly see that he has the Eismon coming out. And I will say that, after a lot of retooling, a lot of practice, that this was the deck that I wanted to use and is the deck that I got second place at my local, only losing to D-Reaper. But you're going to wonder how the hell I even won in the first place when you're going to see me get my ass clapped by Beelstarmon over and over and over again. And you already see in my hand I have those Black Gatomons with Rush. I have a couple of other techs like that Skullgreymon instead of Matadormon, which actually I've gone back to Matadormon and I'm running both Skullgrey and Matadormon. So it's an even balance of everything. But for the most part, it's, you lose in practice so you can win in the real thing. So he goes into that Analog Youth, picks up the Kidmon, and after getting that good scatter mode going, I set up with the Skullgrey ready to go right next to my baby little Dracmon. I didn't swing into security with Dracmon, missing out on a little bit right there. But we can see, or rather you can't really see what kind of cards he has down. Barely see the Analog Youth. See, he goes up into a level 4, passes the turn back. This is where I do swing into security, get him an Analog Boy. And we see 3 Omnimons. He's running Omnimon X-Antibody, Omnimon Zwart. Just going real full control over there. So first I'll do the loop where I draw one, trash one, draw one for trashing one, go up into Grandrac, do the Dracmon, put a level 4 into the grave. You see Black Gatomon security, and then I Digivolve for free. So a lot going on right there in the Grandrac loop. Hold on, I'm recording. A lot going on there in the Grandrac loop, which really only amounts to one extra thing on board and one swing into security at full power. He will swing into my Dracmon, then kill his own Eismon probably, so he can return the Beelstar and another Eismon to his hand. Then he draws 3, trashes 2, draws 2, trashes 1. Draw 1, trash 1 on the Demimera, so Beelstar has a lot of things that help them get through the deck, which is exactly how Beelstar plays. And that's something I've noticed too with my Grandracmon deck, is that it itself is kind of a mid-range deck where you use the incremental value of, the free Digievolution, the free 3 cost from the grave and that kind of thing to, slowly overwhelm your opponent. And it in itself is a mid-range deck, lacking a bit of control because I went for a little bit more aggro, but we see there, there's one example of it. I get the free Digievolution up into my level 5, and then I'm going to probably get up into a level 6 here. I'm not going to do the swing, but I will do the Digievolution. And I don't do the swing. Oh wait, I did have the Dracmon underneath. Why didn't I swing? I lost a check right there. But with that, checks the Sanglutmon. He does another round of drawing and discarding and drawing and discarding, and with a lot of memory in his side and a lot of things in the trash, he's going to be able to start clearing out my stuff. Again, it was just a misplay for me to not really swing in with that Grandracmon. That one extra check might have mattered, and then going up into that level 4 also might have mattered for building up in the future, but it is what it is. This is practice, like I said. He plays out... I'm not really sure which Digimon that is right there, but he's going to nail bone it away so he can get rid of my Dracmon. And then this is where he goes into the Beelstar for 6, and he will take out both of my level 6s. Which, that is something I've been toying around with too in this Dracmon deck, is what level 6s I want to run. I was running Golfmon for a little bit, then Venom Myotismon that has the soft ice wall on it for a little bit. And overall, there are a lot of things that worked, there are a lot of things that didn't work, and in the end, honestly, I'm just going back to the Dex Dorugoramon, because, that little bit of control is good against most decks. Like, it's good against aggro decks, it's good against decks that go wide, like the Armor Rush, or, even if it's something like getting rid of one of the rookies on the field, it's just one less check coming at you, So, actually going back to the Dex line in a few ways a little interesting, I think, and we'll see. You know, I do have the Black Gato get swung through. I have a lot in my trash, but I don't have anything on board. He is building up now. He can play another Beelstar soon, and the next turn, I think it is, oh, or rather this turn, he plays the Dracmon, brings back one of his spells, I say, as if I'm playing Magic, brings back one of his options, and this is where, you know, I build up in Raising, I Digivolve for 2, which I guess I forgot to do on the memory counter. You can see me scratching off some gunk from my sleeves. My sleeves got really dirty because I've been playing the shit out of this deck. I popped the memory boost for 2 more memory, but there isn't really much I can do even with that little bit of a cheat. At the same time, you know, I had a little bit of a misplay earlier too. I'm playing out the Death X-Mon, so that's going to pop his Dracmon. And, well, I'm not sure if that's going to help me end the game anytime soon. Because we do see I have the setup in Raising and then the Death X-Mon, which Death X-Mon, it works against some decks, doesn't work against every deck. He goes up into the Omnimon, swings security. There's the Dexterugreymon, which then he, you know, kills his own thing with the nail gun, whatever it's called. Kills my Death X-Mon because he deleted his own Omnimon's Wart, that's another thing I've been thinking about throwing into this deck is an Omnimon's Wart. Because it's a pretty interesting card, you know, on Digivolution gets rid of a Tamer, which, you know, it can get rid of a Cool Boy. On Deletion gets rid of a Digimon, which you can get rid of anything. So, might want to slot one of those in. Was also thinking about Omnimon, not Zwart Defeat, but regular Zwart, because, you know, you get stuff out of the graveyard again, and this entire deck is about recursion from the graveyard. So we see he's just doing more, and with only with 4 memory, this is where I could end the game if I, well, all I have to do is Digivolve up into that Grandracmon. So you see me swing, discard to get extra points, Digivolve up into Dracmon, go into a Gabumon. It doesn't matter which rookie I chose because at the end of this attack, if it survives, which it does not, I would have been able to go up into the Black Gatomon with Rush for the game. So if I was able to get that, then I would have been able to end the game, but I swung into that Omnimon Insecurity, which is incredibly unlucky as we get into this next game, which I forgot to start the recording, so we see Dracmon on the board, we see Gabumon in Raising, and we see he played out an Analog Youth with nothing on top of his baby. There goes his Gabumon. We see his Gazimon in the trash, and we see him play out another Analog Boy, which I like Analog Youth in this deck. I will say it worked with the Ogremon combo because I would swing Ogremon, discard the Skullgreymon that kills itself at the end of the attack from Classic Collection, and get 3 checks, which it would never survive past the first one, honestly. Like, it's a great idea in theory, but I would not get that second or that third check consistently, so it's like, you know what? Let's just take this out of the deck. This aggro is pretty fun and pretty cheesy, but it just wasn't really working, and that's why I went back to that more mid-rangey type thing with trying to get a little bit more control down. And I think the perfect ratio is the Black Gatomons with Rush, and then on top of the Black Gatomons with Rush, you have, you know, there are higher level things getting into your level 6s that give you the control you need. So, like, the Blocker Retaliation from the level 4 decks is nice, but there are a lot of things to get around that. But at the same time, I did switch up my deck a little bit, and I put instead of the Security Black Gatomon, because, you know, I thought in theory, oh, if it comes out of Security, that's more aggro, but it was rarely in Security, and Digivolving up for 2, which is standard on a level 4, just without an inheritable and without any other kind of skill, just it never felt good, you know? So I know I'm not really commentating this match, but I wanted to talk more about this Grandracmon deck because I have been racking my brain trying to, you know, make it good and make it super cool and that kind of thing. So you can see I am playing out the Psychmon because, oh, it's Beelstar. I don't want him to play Beelstar, so I'll play out Psychmon, but then he's gonna Nailbone again to get rid of it, and then, well, this is where you can play Beelstar for practically free. But yeah, like I was saying, this deck is a lot of fun. I have way too much fun with it, and that's why I'm, you know, trying to pioneer it, because I don't see anybody else playing it. Whenever there's content for it online, it's not very, like, interesting, because it's things I've already tried and tested and, you know, have failed for me. So when I see it's, oh, a deck that I know isn't going to work that well, it's, you know, not really interesting to watch for me. So you can see I play out the Eye and Mako there, which I actually replaced later with Hero, because, you know, that extra 2k when swinging in does matter sometimes. And it even lets you, if you only have the Matador or the Skullgramon and you don't have the level 6, you can swing in with 12k on your level 5, because, you know, you discard for the +3 and then swing with Hero. And, well, 12k is enough to get over, like, 90% of cards in security that aren't options or friggin' Omnimons. So, that's always cool. Of course, it can die on the backswing, but if you have the Black Gato underneath, then it has Retaliation. Like, that's kind of also the weak thing about this deck. There are not very many on-deletion effects, which, like, the perfect thing for this deck would be an undead / dark animal that had an on-deletion effect. And even though there are a few rookies that have the on-deletion effects, and the Eismons aren't, you know, either of those things, the undead or the dark animal, it's still, like, you know, I wish we had just a little bit more for this, because this deck has a lot of potential, and with more dark animals and undead in the future, it can be really cool. So I'm swinging in right here. He's most likely gonna cancel out this attack anyway, but you can see I'm doing the combo. Gonna discard to get more Digivolve up into Grandrac. It's gonna cost 4, so he gets choked to 1. Take out the Psychmon, and he is going to negate the attack. So I'm not sure if I actually get the end of attack trigger or not, but he does use the Omnimon, and he's gonna swing into that. He's gonna use the Omnimon to swing into the Grandrac. They bounce off of each other, and then the swing kills the Psychmon, which is, like, you know, there's, again, just so much, I don't remember the word for it, but it's so much just extra removal. Like, if you're playing against Black War Greymon, you know, Digivolving up gets you removal, or if you're playing against Grandis, it has piercing, or, you know, a lot of red decks, too, just have removal on Digivolve, or very cheap removal in their options. Purple has very cheap removal, you know, but you have to sacrifice your own stuff for it, like we're seeing with this Beelstarmon deck, which, again, I apologize for that glare on half of the cards here, but, you know, I wasn't really thinking about that. I just walked in, sat down, said, play me. And I played 9 games and lost 8 of them, which was not fun. And you can see, like, right now, there's the saddest tree in my raising. It is Black Gato on top of Labramon, which is very sad. It's going to play out Beelstar. Doesn't do anything with it. And right now, it's just me holding out for a hero with 1 memory, because he used his Omnimon's Wart to take out my memory setter tamer. Literally nothing I can do except play out the Death X and wait for him to win the game. Hope I have something in security, which I did not, and it takes him out. And that's also the problem with purple, is that its removal options are not amazing. Like, you have Trump Sword, which takes out an unsuspended Digimon, but of course if something is suspended, then it doesn't work. You have Fly Bullet, which takes out a level 6 or lower, which there are a good handful of level 7s running around. Of course not in the X-antibody decks that aren't Omnimon, but you know, Omnimon X-antibody, level 7 Beelstarmon going up into that Omnimon's Wart, that's a level 7. Omnimon being played in a bunch of the one-shot decks as well, those are level 7s. And then not to mention something like the Armor Purge, just getting around a lot of stuff too. So you can see this time I do swing in with the Dracmon, and I'm choosing whether or not to Digivolve up or play out the Analog Boy. I play out the Analog Boy because I think I was searching for a Sangloopmon. That's kind of the other restrictive thing about this deck, is you need the Dracmon or the Sangloopmon to really get its effect of being able to Digivolve up into Grandracmon, which is, I guess that's a fair trade-off for, you know, having such a powerful effect, but it's also pretty frustrating when you get the line like this where I have Gabumon and then Black Gatomon and then Skullgray, which sure, I do get a lot of draw discard, it has retaliation, that kind of thing, but it's not the combo I need, which on the first tree to set up for purple is fine. Like I could Digivolve up into 2 and then swing in just for that, but you know, I go up into the level 3 instead of looting a little bit, definitely dying to security. He plays out the Gazimon, so I can't pop the purple memory boost for a little while. He is going to Fly Bullet away my level 5, which is a little annoying. Because again, what I should have done was probably swing, get the looting I needed, and there I go up into the Black Gato. And I keep Labramon, put it down, loot, and then probably... I play out another Dracmon, so we're going a little wide here. Completely miss, which the on-play for Dracmon, it's okay. And that, again, that's something that will be buffed with more Undead and Dark Animals, which at level 5 right now, we do have all of the options we need. At Rookie, it's really only Dracmon. And then in the level 4s, it's also okay, you know, depending on which level 4s you have, so... You miss a decent amount of time, which really sucks. You can see I Digivolve up into Chimeramon there. I still run that as a 1-of, which is really good because it lets you put an inheritable underneath, which you can grab Retaliation if you want to swing it in and remove something, or I grab the Gabumon there so I can keep looting because it doesn't look like I have a level 6 in my graveyard. So I think what I'm trying to do here is, you know, I pop the memory boost for 2 more. Counting up what I have in my grave. We draw 1, trash 1, and I'm deciding, do I want it to be the Venom Myotismon, which I do go for that one, just to get a little bit more value for when he does start swinging in as well. So that is 2 checks going in, because that's another thing too. Venom Myotismon is security +1, which helped end games faster on top of that ice wall, but at the same time, you know, it was too easily removed. And it's, I just want to test out the Dexdor Gora versus the Venom Myotis again to see if I truly need that little bit of removal or if I need, you know, the game-ending Venom Myotismon. I tested out Golfmon, which is funny, but it's just okay. It was rare that I was able to unsuspend something for an extra swing. There we see he removes, but, you know, I have 3 security. He only has 2 things on board right now. He's going to use that Omnimon Sword to take out my Analog Boy, and right now I just need to survive this turn, so I'm going to do my best to choke him. And that is exactly what I do, because I just need to push up with that Gabumon next turn and swing for game. So seeing what he does, checks security. It is just the Gabumon. Draws 1, trashes 1. The Black Gato plays itself out of the security, which again, I didn't get that often, but I feel like it can be impactful sometimes. It's not amazing. He kills his own Omnimon, so he can remove my Black Gato, get out another baby and get a little bit more memory with those Analog Boys. And I'm afraid of him playing out Beelstarmon and then getting like 2 of those Ginkaku promotes out onto the field and rushing me down for game. But even then, well, we see he's playing Beelstar for 0. There's the Ginkaku. There is Gazimon. He only has 1 Ginkaku. Digivolves up, removes my Iron Mako, but all I gotta do is push up and Gabumon. Saying I could play Death X for like free there as well, but you know, that's icing on top of the cake. Death X he's good in some matchups and he's a brick in other matchups. Like you can play him for free against security control because they have so many tamers. You can play him pretty quickly against something like Imperial Dramon and Armor Rush, which he is impactful. But against those 1-stack decks, against, you know, Grandis, against the Garuru X and Wargrey X, he's only okay. And it's tough because on one hand, I don't want to Digivolve him because I want to keep out the Grandracmon and keep, you know, building pressure with those free Digievolutions. But on the other hand, you can Digivolve him just for 6 and still get a pretty powerful effect where now they have to deal with that. At the same time, it's a bit of a trade-off, you know? It's well, at the same time, I also run win rate 60%, which is a fantastic card and reduces the cost by 4, which is makes Grandrac free, but you know, technically still cost 2 memory for the whatchamacallit. Right there, you see I had the build up. I didn't have the combo though because I didn't have the right inheritable, or did I? I can't tell. Was that the Dracmon? Either way, I didn't have the level 6 to digivolve up into anyway. There goes another Dracmon. The Eismon has jamming here, and that is going to be the common theme, is the fact that Eismon has jamming. I think this is the game where... Oh wait, no, that was I played it offline yesterday. It was my friend had his Eismon out, and it hit me for 4 security because it just would not die. And I didn't want to remove it because I didn't want to give him the draw power, but it just won him the game because it just stayed on the board. It was kind of silly, but that's what I'm talking about too, with like that you don't have to think about it type of removal where you don't sacrifice anything by, you know, packing something like the Dexdoragoromon. Like, sure, it does cost a lot to digivolve up into, but it does have a good effect, and the on deletion is pretty nice. And I'm just thinking, like, if I did have the Dexdoragora, it would have just removed the Eismon, or it would have removed whatever's on board anyway, and then I'd still be able to swing security. Because that's the powerful thing, too, about something like Black Wargreymon and Gaiomon, where they swing and they delete things on the board. Or the Omnimon X-antibody, where you declare an attack and it just kills something for free. And it's like, you know, that kind of removal where you don't lose anything is very powerful. So right there I swing the... I do a bunch of stuff. I'm still looking for my level 6s, it looks like, which I do have. Swinging into security, digivolving up into Grandrac for 4. There's the Dracmon. I get 2 hits, so I get to put the Dracmon in my hand and the Skullgray in the trash. Because that's something I feel like I need to get more used to doing as well, is pushing up the level 2. And then like something like this, where I can push up the level 2, or the level 3 Dracmon, put the Black Atomon Rush on top of it, and then digivolve up into the level 5. Which, sure, it does cost 3, and it might die, but it has a much better chance of surviving than as a Black Atomon, which, that 1000 DP sometimes matters. It's rare, because that's what I was saying too, was the Black Gato would survive a long time for me as well. And here's a situation where I think we're gonna be able to keep Grandrac on board, digivolve up into the level 5, get up into a level 6, but this is where Beelstar is going to be played. Pops my thing, I get an Analog Boy proc, which doesn't really matter because it's still my turn, but you know, that 1 extra memory does matter sometimes. Like right now we are going to, I have a lot of cards in hand. I have my setter. Again, I replaced Iron Mako because that 1 mil is nice, but it's not amazing. Like, purple doesn't have many good setters. It doesn't have many amazing tamers. Like, sure, some purple tamers are played in security control, but they're, you know, for the 2 memory tamer that gets you memory back if you play an option, which does pay for itself eventually, but I don't run too many options, and I don't want to be playing too many options, so it doesn't really help for me, because I want to keep playing Digimon. I want to keep getting my advantage that way, you know what I mean? So, a lot of options exist for purple. A lot of them are just not amazing. Here, you can see I'm thinking very hard about what I want to do, because I am staring down a very scary board. I'm thinking, is there anything I can do to even try to come back here? And you can see I have Memory Boost, Sanglutmon. If I digivolve up into a level 5, this does have Retaliation and could kill something. But, you know, those glares, we can't even see what Digimon those are. So, it's probably not in my favor this game, which you already saw me win 1 game, so you know it's not going to be in my favor this game. Just taking a long time to think about it. And, you know, it was mentioned by my friends too, like, they love how into this deck I am, and it's because it's so interesting, you know. My favorite color in this game is black, and I easily could be playing, you know, Black Wargreymon or Black Omnimon, but this deck has just been so much more interesting, you know. Analog Boy gets me an extra memory after the Skullgray checks for 2, and then, you know, if I had if I had that hybrid there, which I don't, I would have won. But he actually thought it was a hybrid and was like, yeah, you win. But no, it was not a hybrid. I was just fucking around. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to know more about my Grandrac shenanigans, I will consistently be posting more Grandrac deck stuff in the future. I hope you enjoyed this one, and, you know, look forward to more in the next one. Have a nice day.